Hi, Chief. I appreciate you taking the time to meet with me today. I know you're a busy man, so I won't waste your time. We'll kind of get right into it. So, my proposal to you is that each apparatus should be equipped with a large thermal, think Yeti style cooler, full of ice and a small number of water bottles during periods of high heat in the city. This ice and water would be used to treat hyperthermic injuries for the citizens we serve. I'm going to sort of explain to you why I feel like this is an unmet need, why certain populations in our city are more susceptible to these types of injuries, why I feel like we are lacking in that area right now, how we can easily fix that problem, I think. What are the consequences of not being able to do that, as well as how easy it will be to implement this program, cost, everything like that, and where I see the benefits are for both the department, for the citizens we serve, and sort of maybe this providing us a path forward, right? So why is this an unmet need, right? So we're in a very unique situation with the populations that we deal with, right? This city obviously has a large number of homeless populations that are super susceptible to any environmental changes, but we also have a large population of especially older folks living in houses that don't have AC or fans or something like that, and these patients are difficult to reach with other means like social media or the news or something like that. Like the homeless population, they don't check the weather every day. They don't know when it's going to be 105, right? These populations also, especially the homeless, we're dealing with alcohol and drugs, mental health as well, that can make hyperthermic injuries that much more severe, right? We're in a unique position where we are either entering these people's homes or interacting with these people on the streets, as well as just being present in the neighborhood throughout our shift, where we can observe people, we can see if people seem to be getting worse throughout the day. I mean, at least where I work, I'm super familiar with a lot of the people experiencing homeless around us, and seeing them throughout the day, seeing if they're getting worse, if they're acting differently or something like that. I think it provides us a situation where we can be proactive instead of reactive, right? If we see someone getting worse, we can provide them with cold water, ice in bags, something like that, where I feel like we can make a big difference, right? So the medical consequences of sort of hyperthermic injuries and why I feel like we're not really addressing those right now. So hyperthermic injuries can cause irreversible brain, kidney damage 10 to 15 minutes after their temperature goes over 104, right? This can happen easily. Like we have days that are over 104, but body temperatures can rise above 104, even with exposure to the heat, along with drugs, alcohol, things that decrease the body's ability to deal with those heat levels, right? Our COGS right now say that the two treatments for hyperthermic injuries are, for heat exhaustion, is cold PO fluids, and for heat stroke or someone with a temperature over 104, right, is full immersion in ice, right? Both of these are things that we can provide cold PO fluids sometimes, right, depending on how much ice is put in our drink cooler at the beginning of shift or something like that, but we don't have the ability to do the full ice submersion, right? And that is the recommended treatment from through the COGS, right? I've been on calls before where we've had to treat someone with a temperature above 104. What we ended up doing was running to the convenience store across the street and using our own money to buy bags of ice so that we could submerge this patient, right? So I feel like there's a prevention side of this where if we see some people change, like throughout the day they're getting worse, we're able to provide them with cold PO fluids or something like that, ice in bags, something like that. Then there's also the treatment side of it where we really just don't have the ability to treat these patients right now. The only people that do carry ice coolers right now, from my knowledge, is EMS commanders. The couple times I've seen them utilized on scene, that ice was melted. I think we're in a unique position where we return to the station throughout the day, We can easily refill these. We can have some sort of schedule. We already have the ice makers, so that sort of leads me into the implementation, right? So say each cooler costs about $350. Say we purchase 100 of them. That provides extra. We can put them on brush trucks. We can put them on squads as well. So around $350 retail costs for a large Yeti cooler, times 100, $35,000, right? The training is easy, right? It's already in the cogs. The firefighters should be aware of what to do, right? We have the ice makers. We'd have to implement some sort of refilling schedule depending on how hot it is, how much the truck is outside the bay, how cool the bay is, stuff like that. But I feel like the implementation is relatively easy, right? What can we gain from this initiative, right? I think just the increased community engagement, right? Like if you have an engine driving along Town Lake and people are running, they see someone struggling, we can offer them some water, right? It also gives us the ability to treat these patients in hypothermic injury that much more quickly, right? We can't rely on EMS being quick right now, right? I think it just also puts the idea of having treating hypothermic injuries and being aware of them in the forefront of the firefighter's mind because they're sitting with the cooler in the back seat every day, right? My hope is we'd be successful to this. And maybe this leads us down a path of something where now we start thinking of how we create some sort of package to treat hypothermia injuries. But I think this is a good start. It's relatively cheap. I think we can implement it really quickly. So I appreciate your time. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks.